All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. We are going to run these webinars once a month for, the next foreseeable future to try to go over different things that you can do inside of your business to empower it with AI and different use cases and things that we've built and things that we think you should build or work with us to help you build for your business. So over the past couple of years, really spent a lot of time, money, and engagement with our clients to try to figure out, how we can help them, what we can do to help you guys all make more money, become more profitable, and grow faster. We Jessica Peden, who's on the call, works for Plus One Technology. She is our full-time AI and automation engineer. So I hope you all get to meet her and work with her in the near future. Those of you who don't know who we are, the company was founded in 2005. We have probably close to 100 years now of combined operational experience. We operate our help desk 24/7, 365 days a year, and we have a SOC 2 compliance, a generative AI certification, and we are cyber verified. For those of you who have never had a AI consulting call with us, you can use this QR code to book it. You'll also get an email after this call with this link if you'd like to book the call. It costs you nothing. We are not trying to pitch you anything during the call. Basically, we'll just help you discover opportunities for AI inside your business, and if there's anything that we can do to help, or just help you utilize AI better inside of your business. So you can use that QR code or use the link that we provide in the email afterwards. So just a simple breakdown before we get into it here is, what do we do during these calls? We identify opportunities. We evaluate to see if there's tools that already exist. If not, we can help you build a workflow. We can build custom automations based on your software and then train your team. And then we offer ongoing support for whatever we build or help you build ongoing after that. So let's get into it today. So we're going to go over two big things today. And they are, the first one is how to build an internal knowledge base for your SharePoint. So what's that mean is, if you have a SharePoint document library or many SharePoint document libraries that have hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even 1 million files in them, how do you find stuff? How can your employees get answers to things inside of those documents without having to go into 5 different folders and find an individual file that may have something that they're looking for? So these agents solve for that. It essentially allows you to ask questions of your SharePoint library and get answers. So we're going to go through, how do you do this? How do you build it? So we're going to walk through this today. I want to let everyone know, so you don't have to take notes. You don't have to try to do this while you're on the call. This full interactive presentation will be sent to everybody. You will get a link to this, so you don't have to do this right now. For both of these, we have one for the SharePoint agent and one for the meeting transcript agent that we're going to do after this. So you don't have to do this right now. We're going to walk through it just so you can see how easy it is and how it doesn't take that much time to pull these things off. But after this, you'll be able to do this and then have this presentation open as you walk through it step by step on your own if you'd like. Also, if you don't want to do this on your own and you want some help, feel free to reach out to us and we can kind of help you walk through this process. So the first thing that you're going to do is go into the agent screen. If you have a Copilot license, which you will need to build this, you will go into Copilot and you will see this screen that's basically prompting you to build an agent. So you will click the Create Agent button. Then it's going to ask you, do you want to describe it, or do you want to just skip to the configuration, which is, the difference here is if you want to create an agent and you just want to describe what you want to do. So basically this is like, hey, I want an agent to do, this. I want you to create a marketing agent that's going to help me create great marketing material for my business, and here's my logo and all that kind of stuff. Like, if you just want to describe what you want the agent to do, you would click this describe button. If you want to go right into telling it exactly the instructions, giving it a prompt of, how the agent should behave, you kind of click this skip to configure button, which in this case, since we're going to give you exactly what to put in here, you can click that button. Then you'll get to this stage, and I'm going to kind of describe what all these are so that if you want to use creating this agent for a different purpose, you kind of know what you need to do. So on this screen here, you're going to give it a name. This is what you want to call the agent. I would definitely recommend that you start naming these something pretty specific so you know what it's for, because I foresee in the very near future that many businesses are going to have many of these agents available in their environment. So, and some people I even see will give them names, hey, this is Carl, the document assistant or something like that, just to make it a little bit more personal. Description. So this is kind of just like a brief description. So as you build more agents, people are going to want to know what the agents are for. So the description is just explaining what purpose this agent serves. And then the instructions. This is where you're telling the agent exactly what to do. This is the prompt. This is what I want you to do. Basically, step by step, what do you want the agent to do? So in our case, the instructions that you're going to put in here are in this box. So when you get this presentation, you will be able to just copy and paste this. The only thing you will really need to change is the name of your company. And if you obviously read through this and see if there's anything in here you want to add or, edit, but if you just do this, this will provide kind of a general guidance to what we're trying to achieve today, which is to search the documents and the folders in your SharePoint library and provide answers. And a quick note here before we go on, when we get to this knowledge section, this is where you're going to select the SharePoint libraries you want to hook this particular agent up to. So if you wanted to search all your SharePoint libraries, you could select all of them. If you have it separated, like you have one for HR, or you have one for sales, or one for clients, and you want to just have different agents for each of those subsets, which we see with larger firms that have different teams of people, this is where you select the SharePoint library that you wanted to search. And a very important note here is with Copilot agents, one of the nice things about using Copilot agents that exist in your Microsoft 365 tenant is that they abide by the access rules of the individual people. So if you share this agent with everybody in the company and they start using it, they will only get access to the data they already have access to. So if you share this with a bunch of people and you create an agent for a SharePoint library, but that user doesn't have access to that SharePoint library, they're basically not going to get anything out of this agent. So it does respect the permissions that exist for the people. Now, one thing that I will add as a caveat is if you create an agent and give people access to it that don't have access to the data, Copilot now prompts you when you create the agent to say, hey, these people don't have access to this information that you're creating this agent for. Do you want to do it? If you're an admin on your tenant, it will prompt you for that. If you're not, you will never see that. But if you have the ability to edit the permissions, it'll prompt you with, hey, do you want to give access to these people that don't have access now? And then you would say yes or no. So it does do that. So you have to be, cognizant of that if you have somebody doing this that might be an admin on your 365 tenant, they could be giving people access to stuff that maybe they shouldn't have access to. Again, only if they are a 365 admin with SharePoint admin credentials. So you have to be cognizant of that. But if those people are not admins, they won't get that screen. And if they'll still be able to create the agent and share it, and those people just won't get any answers. So it's one of the nice things about Copilot is that it is very directly integrated in your 365 environment, and only people who have access to data will be able to retrieve information in an agent. They won't see information that they don't have access to. So you'll select your SharePoint libraries you want to connect it to. They'll show up here and say connected. All you do is basically search here, and you can type in the SharePoint library name and it'll show up there. Create documents, charts, and code. So this is basically like, what do you want this thing to be able to do? This list is going to get longer, but right now these are two simplistic things that you'll get prompted to. For the purpose of this, we are not looking to have this agent create anything. We are just looking for this agent to search information. So I would just leave these turned off for the purpose of this agent. We don't need it to create any documents. We don't need it to create images. Suggested prompts. So if any of you are familiar with custom GPTs or projects in Claude, these are the things that show up when somebody launches the agent. That makes it simpler for them to get started. It also provides some context for them of how they should be interacting with this agent. So you'll see in this case, we preloaded a couple of questions. You can change these to be whatever you want. But what is nice here is then when the person will load up this agent, these will show up as buttons and they can just simply click them. It helps them understand how they should be interacting with the agent. You can also just remove these if you don't want anything here. So this is just a way to do a test run. You can put in a question here and say, hey, I want to test this out right now. Can I, and make sure that you're getting the results that you're expecting. So this is kind of like a test mode of your agent before you finish it to make sure that, hey, when you search for something, is it giving you the right answer, that type of thing. It also allows you to then, you can go back and say, oh, well, it's not doing this correct. And you go back maybe and edit the instructions if you're not getting the information that you think you should be getting. And then that's it. So you've built the agent. We walk through all the steps that it takes to build that agent. And then all you will do is click the button to publish it. And then this is a sample agent screen. When they load it up, we can also provide you instructions on how to add an agent to Teams. So a lot of people will, find it easier if the agents are right into Teams so that it's much easier for the people to interact with the agent. They don't have to log into the 365 on the web. It's right in Teams if you're using that every day. If not, they log in through 365 and they can do it in there. So that's the Copilot agent. Is there any questions on that agent before we go on to the next section?